All right, I'm going to try this, and I hope my account doesn't get banned for talking about this, but a lot of people have been asking in the video I made about Moloch, and I have always astral projected. I've always been somebody who has had one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual world. I exist in two places at one time, at all times, okay? And as such, there are different dimensional layers that you can traverse when you are in this space, okay? As somebody who has perpetually been seeking knowledge, there is a process of acquiring sacred, spiritual, ancient knowledge. A lot of it has to do with facing your own shadow and being courageous enough to look at your own darkness, to confront yourself, to be able to pass through gates of initiation to gain that ancient wisdom, okay? When you do this, you become incorruptible and you are granted powers, mystical powers, because of that incorruptibility. People who are doing what they're doing with Moloch are not incorruptible. Obviously, they never did the shadow work to obtain the power that they have. That's why their power is an illusion of power. It's not actual power. Actual power comes from confronting your own shadows and loving yourself back into wholeness. When you're in this process, many times you will be confronted with archetypes like Moloch that will entice you to try to come to their side type of thing. It's almost like a test. It's a test of your resilience to be incorruptible. I've had a few encounters with Moloch in this space where he has tried to tempt me, but the thing is that I'm not interested in what he has to offer. Okay? So I've had conversations with him. And right now, where it stands is that a lot of what is happening because he is no longer willing to take their sacrifices, okay? He doesn't want it anymore. And so because he doesn't want it anymore, because it is filled, it's to the brim. The miasma there is a portal in Minneapolis where George Floyd was murdered that has miasma literally spilling out of it. It is centuries of pain that has been forced upon the Black community. And I know that other people who have visited that site have felt it as well. I grew up there. I used to sit at that corner every day waiting for the bus to go to work. So I'm very familiar with the energy of that area as somebody who's very sensitive to energy in general. When I went back there to pay my respects to George Floyd, the energy there was so incredibly painful, okay? Rightfully so. That's why it's all coming to the surface now, because the ways in which they were able to keep it in the shadows is no longer works. You know what I'm saying? Like the well has run dry. So that is part of why the side in happened, because they're trying to ramp up because they're losing grip. They're losing their grip on it, man. And trust when I say that they will be paying back that karmic debt for fucking lifetimes. It is going to take them so long to get out of underneath the what they have created. Like this, oh no, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your own actions for fucking lifetimes now though, bro. And if it isn't super obvious, this is a spiritual war. It's a spiritual war that has been going on. And everything that happens on the physical realm starts in the spiritual realm. That's why we mystical practitioners work in the spiritual realm. That's why we do what we do. That's why we create codes. That's why we work with the grid, because everything that we do in the spiritual realm comes down and affects the physical realm. That is why this is able to surface is because we've done enough of the clearing for allow it to rise up.